Hey guys, welcome back to the Lumix Lounge here at WPPI 2015. We're here in the Panasonic booth and I'm sitting with my good friend Mr. Michael Grecco. He's a commercial photographer and director. He does all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's a list about this long of the stuff that this guy has made, the people that he shot in Hollywood and around that, and we're just going to talk. We're going to talk about some cool stuff that he has going on, some of the gear that he uses, some of the light modifiers that he chooses to use, all that stuff in this session. So Michael Grecco, welcome.
How you doing, pal?
Good to see you, man.
My favorite interviewer.
Yeah?
You are my favorite interviewer.
Excellent.
By far.
Even more than Barbara Walters and
yeah.
Oprah?
Yeah, you have to ask me if I were a twee, which twee would I be? That's one of our interview questions.
And made somebody cry, right? Yeah. I got to get my tree question. I got to figure out what that is, you know. If you were a camera, which camera would you be?
A GH4, of course.
There you go. Yeah, multifaceted. All right, I have a list of stuff that I want to talk to you about. So let's just start with you. So we've done interviews before, and people, can go watch those in the Lumix Lounge if they want to see what you do, and your work and all that stuff. I want to dive in a little bit deeper into gear, and some of the light modifiers and tools that you use to connect your cameras, all that stuff.
Okay.
Right? I know your Panasonic has this term hybrid shooter, right? Where it's, you're shooting video, you're shooting stills and mixing them all together. I put you in the category of a hybrid shooter because you use many different tools and you pick the right tool to do the job, right? So
I do.
Yeah, you're not the photographer that I have a hammer and everything is a nail, right?
Or the chisel. I don't use the same size chisel for everything.
There you go.
I use a similar metaphor.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, so let's dive into that. So tool-wise, what are you using these days and why?
The GH4 is my go-to camera for video.
Yep.
But we're also talking about, I've written 2 lighting books. So I have Lighting in the Dramatic Portrait is available on it's no longer in print. It is out of print. But it is available on the iTunes and Kindle stores. But when I talk about the craft of making a picture, I talk about this idea of seeing, like looking at what you're doing.
Yeah.
So being tethered for me is really, really important. So Tether Tools, we just went over to the booth at Tether Tools. They are now making, and you can see I did the ad for the GH4.
Oh, let's see that.
I did the ad for the GH4 now that the camera has tether capability.
That's a very proper looking picture of you there.
Thank you.
Michael Grecco.
Thank you very much.
With the amazing model in the background.
That's the vest outfit I have, yes.
I know. The signature vest.
So tethering to me is really important because, there's this idea, everyone says, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? I do it by looking at it. I do it by adjusting it. I do it by fixing it. I do it by making it right and making it mine and owning it. Yep. So to be able to tether into the camera is really wonderful. And this is a new cable from Tether Tools. And I'm usually not allowed to touch any of my own equipment. The assistants do it. So no, that's
you're
the
that
wrong
photographer.
One. I'm that photographer.
You
too.
just put your hand out like that, and the camera appears in it.
Yeah, here it is. It goes in right here into the mini USB.
There you go.
And
your assistant's watching, going, "Oh,
yeah,
let me do that."
The assistant's like, "I got this, pal. Here we go." There we go. So this makes it really great because as you're shooting, you're able to see it on the screen. We have a color-calibrated monitor. We put an X-ray puck on the monitor. We color-calibrate it, and I'm able to see exactly what I'm getting and how I can refine and fine-tune the light. Yeah. These little gizmos here, you're able to run through the strap holder, and it goes onto the cable and keeps the cable from pulling out like that.
Brilliant.
And this goes onto the computer, it goes into the other USB, and it keeps the cable from pulling out of the computer.
So, because you're mobile, you're moving around and
shooting. We usually put the computer, it's either a laptop or a tower and a monitor, and it's on a cart, and it's as close to me as possible so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah. It's really, really handy that way. Wow. So, and I have to say I don't use this. I take a big A-clamp and clamp this thing right to the side of the cart so that if I trip or if someone comes across the cable. But the cables are orange, so everyone gets to see the cable. I love it.
So when you're tethering, you said the purpose is so you're tethering into a color calibrated display so you can see it. Is this for the clients as well?
It can be, but it's for me in particular. It's like we'll make lighting adjustments that are 3 inches in height. I try to, in Lighting in the Dramatic Portrait, I really talk about breaking visual rules and breaking the boundaries, and like, so I will try to make the light as high as possible, but you need to see white in someone's eye. You need, and I don't worry about the catch light. I can always put the catch light in later in post in Photoshop, but I want to see white in someone's eyes. I don't want someone's, so we're always riding that line of the light being either up here, having to come down a little bit, or depending on who it is. Usually the assistants stand in, and then there's a slight difference in height and eye sockets and things like that. Yeah. So, but that's the critical thing for me, and I'm not looking at the LCD on the back of the camera. I'm really investigating what the full raw frame looks like.
Yeah, that's interesting. I want to actually walk through a day in the life. Not a whole day, but a shoot in the life, you know, of Michael Grecco. Like when you conceptualize where the images, and I'm thinking back to all the great images in lighting in a dramatic portrait, those images, do you draft those images? Like, are you sitting down at coffee in Starbucks and like, okay, I'm going to do a shot like this, and you know, I had this epiphany, I'm going to do this, I'm going to put this person here, and that's the shot, and then you go into the studio and build that? Or is it more on the fly?
No, especially if there's props and there's stuff like that that's needed, you have to do that in advance. You have to be able to. You have to be able to say, I want a space helmet, and futuristic clothing, and know the location you're going to shoot at, right? So you have to have some sort of concept of what you're going to do. You don't know all of it, and then usually on a production like this, I'm going and I'm scouting the day before, and then I'm planning out my day for the next day. Yeah. Like then I'm really walking it through and doing it.
When you're scouting, and I hear that from a lot of photographers, that one of the main things that separates amateurs from professionals is preparation, like scouting and readying your gear and all that stuff, taking care of the details before you even start pressing the shutter. On a shoot like this one, where is that, by the way?
It's Zabriskie Point in Death Valley.
Oh, Death Valley. Okay. When you're on a shoot like this, you go out the day before, and are you like, time of day? You know, the sun, the shadows are following here.
There's a great app on my phone called Sunseeker, and you hold up the app. Let's see if it's here. And you hold up the app, and it actually arcs. Yeah, Sunseeker, and it'll actually arc. No, I'm not going to rate you now. It'll arc with the camera where the sun comes up, when it's going to break the horizon line, when you're first going to see twilight, and then if you're shooting out in an environment like this, you can map out your whole day. You know when to start, you know when to finish. I mean, often we won't do anything in the middle of the day. In the middle of the day is bad light, it's lunchtime. In the wintertime, that might not be a problem, but in the summer, it's certainly true. You don't want to be shooting in the middle of the day. Yeah. So we are the day before mapping out the whole day. Now, if something changes, or you see something, or a talent doesn't want to do something, you're shooting a celebrity, as much as we planned, we're also ready to throw it out the window if we need to.
So you start with a baseline plan, but you're flexible enough to riff on that. Like in the old days, the ring around. You remember ring arounds when you're printing? The ring around when you're printing. See, you have assistants that do these. Your assistants know about the ring around. When you're printing, say you're doing a color print, you print several different exposures, even black and white, several different exposures, and then look at that and pick the right one, and those are your settings for the other 30 prints that you're going to make. Gotcha. So, ring around, test prints, all that crap. Okay, I want to talk about, light tools. I want to talk about light modifiers. You brought this thing up here.
Yeah, so one of my favorite things, and again, this goes back to tethering and really crafting the light. And I stopped using softboxes a while ago because softboxes spread light everywhere. So if you really I like to light, I went to film school. I went to Boston University as a film student. Oh, wow. And my degree is in broadcasting and film. And when I studied cinema, we really studied directors that made pools of light where the actors walk through these pools of light. And I love that concept, right? So
here.
I love making pools of light, right? Yeah. And I love controlling the light. This has got a grad over the top. It's got a grid on this light. The light is focused more to her face. Yep. Brilliant. But a softbox would spread everywhere and contaminate everything. All this would have been flooded with light. Yep. But when you grid it, and these are Light Tools fabric egg crate grids, these are called the Easy Pop. Did you notice that?
Jeez, look at that.
Because it easy pops.
Look at that.
Yeah, but then that goes right into your Chimera, right?
Yeah.
That goes right
It
into
just
your
pops
Shimera
right
if you
in
don't
there.
kill yourself.
Yeah.
See, this is why the assistants have to do this, because I would hurt myself
Your assistants
or
are like
someone else.
They're doing the face palm right now.
But this goes right in, and I think this is a 40 degree, and they have 20, 30, 40, 50.
Yep.
They make them for the strip boxes, and this is the way I create those pools of light, but now with a light that's more flattering and nice, and because these snap like this, we'll see if we can snap it back in the case.
If you can snap that back together, I know you planned that. You said that we can give that one away to
You
someone in
can.
the audience, right?
Lightly used, just
Slightly
me getting
used.
it back, just
Hey.
me getting it back in the case.
There we go. Yeah, there you go. It's like signed by Michael Grecco's.
I can sign it.
Yeah. So we'll figure out how we're going to give that away. I think the best way to do it is so you have a website, obviously. What's your URL?
It's michaelgreco.com.
So
And on Twitter, I'm at Michael Grecco.
at Michael Grecco.
2 C's.
So why don't we do this? We'll say over the next. We're at WPPI right now. It's the 6th, I believe. So we'll say for the next 20, 30 days, if you tweet something to Michael Grecco, at Michael Grecco, and WPPI 2015 as a hashtag, we could say anything. We'll watch that and pick a random person that will get that.
All right, love that. They should tag light tools, hashtag light tools also.
Hashtag light tools.
Yeah.
Okay, so hashtag light tools,
Yeah.
hashtag WPPI 2015, and tweet it to you, at Michael
Sure.
Grecco. Okay, perfect, and we'll follow that.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So what else? What else do we have here? So all these tools that you're using. This is, on the business side of things. After you walk through the shoot, right? I'm always curious about how, when you're dealing with these high-end clients, and you're dealing with celebrities and Fortune 500, 400, 100 companies, and doing work for them, how does it work on the proofing side of things? Like, say this is a shot that TWIP commissions you to do.
Okay.
We don't have that budget, but if we did, and we commissioned you to do this shoot, what does that process look like for me as the client?
What do you mean proofing? Like the
From
editing,
beginning
choosing?
to, like,
okay.
hey, Michael Grecco, I need a shot of a woman in a space
So
dress.
from a business standpoint, we always talk the creative first,
Yeah.
right? I teach people to ask for what the budget is. Like, what's your budget? What are you thinking? And you want to know the usage, because I license photography. As a commercial photographer, I don't work under a day rate. I license it.
Very nice.
Small use, smaller fee. Big use, bigger fee. Right.
Very cool. Yeah.
So, and then we get into progression of the creative, the logistics, the figuring out where we're going to shoot.
Yeah.
If it's a video, we're writing a script. We're storyboarding it. And then we're working out the details right up until the minute of production.
Wow.
So,
wow. And then to end it, what's the final delivery?
so
Is it a digital file to these guys?
Yeah. So what I do for my workflow is I have an in-house server.
Yep.
I have a Synology RAID that I love, in-house server, and I'll make the client a hot link of 1,200 JPEGs. Now, I have a few rules. If I trust the client, I give them almost everything except anything you wouldn't want to ever see printed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If I don't trust the client, they're just newer, and I might edit that tighter, or I'll make a folder of my favorite and my seconds, but I deliver a low-res JPEGs,
Yeah.
and then they pick, and then we retouch. My philosophy, though, is to not create the image in post if I can help it. So in other words, this image looked relatively close to this when they got the
mark of
because
a
there's
pro.
a grad creating the shadow, the bringing down the sky,
Yeah.
the lighting is done this way.
Yeah.
Well, I think of it as I don't want the client to have to imagine what their shoot's going to look like.
Yeah.
I want them to buy into the creativity right away.
So you're not shooting. Are you shooting? And it is no wrong way, right? Obviously, some photographers shoot and they shoot for Photoshop. So okay, I'm going to shoot this, and I know, like you were saying earlier, I can put catch lights in later. Some photographers take that to an nth degree, where they're like, okay, I'm going to shoot her, I'm going to composite all this together, and they shoot for that. And then there are other photographers, like I'm hearing, like you, it's almost like shooting slide film, right? I got to get it right on the image.
That's the way I shoot.
Yeah.
And the thing is if you're compositing and it's your own work, that's fine. To me, it always looks a little fakey when it's all composited.
Yeah.
No one's meticulous about matching the light. No one's, and it looks. I like my images. Here's the thing conceptually with my images, right? it's another world I'm creating, right? Literally, you're at Zabriskie Point. You're in this space age clothing. You've got a space helmet on. Beautiful model.
You're telling a story.
It's a story, but I need you to have suspense. I need you to suspend your disbelief. I need it to look real and not look like I did it. It's a fantasy photo, and I did it in Photoshop. I need you to buy in as the viewer into my concept, so it needs to look as real as possible.
You're creating a Michael Grecco world, right?
Yeah. But it has to be believable. And if it looks too composited to me, then it's not believable.
Love it. Michael, I know you got to run, but thank you for stopping by.
Thanks, Tom.
Always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you.
Oh, my head always explodes when we chat.
I think we're going to tease out this special project.
Oh my God! Thank you for reminding me. Yes,
we're going to tease out something that I can't even talk about.
Yeah,
right?
so you're reminding me to tell you that there's something that I can't tell you, or you can't tell me what it is.
Yeah.
But we can show you, and we know that you shot this with one of these or something, maybe.
Correct.
Something in the line you used to shoot this. Let's roll it and look
Correct.
at it.
All right.
You want to set it up first?
Yeah, I'm not going to set it. I'm not going to set anything up.
Yeah.
On the 25th of March, you'll know all about it.
Okay.
Wednesday, March 25th, it'll all come out. We'll do a teaser. We'll do a proper teaser on the 18th. But
love that.
On the 25th, we got it all. It's all coming.
So
out,
where do they go to like see this?
It'll be on the Lumix Lounge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be on the Lumix Lounge.
Okay.
So.
LumixLounge.com. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. Let's look at the video.
All right.
And we'll have audio.
Yes, there will be audio. There's actually acting.
Oh. Oh. Is that a drone shot?
It is. It is.
And that's all we can see?
I think that's it.
That's it?
That's it. That's it. It's
that's
a
all we
tease.
can
That's
see?
it.
God.
That's
okay.
it.
Okay, so tell me what that was about. No. That's cool. So on the 25th, LumixLounge.com?
The 25th.
Okay.
Lumix Lounge.
All right, well, check it out.
All right, pal.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's it for this session here in the Lumix Lounge at WPPI 2015. My name is Frederick Van Johnson. That was Michael Grecco. We'll see you in the next video.